Hello everyone. Welcome to the playlist of High Voltage Engineering. In this session, I'll be discussing about the testing on bushings. You can observe different diagrams of bushing on the screen. This segment is known as dielectric material and this segment is generally called conductor. It comprises of dielectric part as well as conductor part. And you can observe the bushing over the distribution transformer. So bushings are mainly helpful for taking the connections and it helps to prevent the short circuit. First of all, let us understand what do you mean by bushings. In electric system, a bushing is a hollow electrical insulator that follows an electrical conductor to pass safely through a conducting barrier such as in case of transformers or circuit breaker without making any electrical contact within it. So that's a peculiarity of bushings. Normally we are taking connections through the bushings. So bushings are generally preventing the short circuit. You can observe the diagram of bushing in different equipments, especially for a small ferro-resonant transformer, you can observe the bushings. Here this is one of the pole mounted substation, one of the transformer you can observe over there. So bushings are single phase transformer that you can observe here where you are going to take the connections. As you can observe, 110 kV bushings in the building of the wall. Here, these are the points of bushings. You are going to take the connection from the bushings. If bushings are not there, definitely there is a chance for getting short circuited. If I talk about substation, especially 110 kV and 220 kV substation, you can see various bushings. Definitely it is unavoidable. Then regarding 380 kV transformer in Iraq, I have taken from Google Images and Wikipedia. So these are the different segments of bushings. And if I look at bushings on AEG unit at Germany, you can see the segment of bushings. So bushings are mainly used in transformers where you are going to take the connections. Definitely it is going to prevent the short circuit. And there are different varieties of bushings like dry bushings. You can observe the diagram of dry bushings. Similarly, oil filled capacitor bushings also available. So it depends on the circumstances. You can use which type of bushing is most convenient. Normally, three types of materials are employed for bushing. That means paper. Paper will act as a dielectric material. Then resin and porcelain. However, porcelain materials are commonly used. Okay. Our job is to ensure that the quality of insulation part, everywhere you can observe the insulation, that insulation part should be perfectly fine. Else, it may be spoiled. Your bushings may be spoiled and it leads short circuit. So before using that particular bushing, make sure that the provided insulation or provided dielectric material is perfectly fine. That is our job. So we are to conduct various testing on bushings. In this session, I will be demonstrating the most popularly used bushing testing. So let us have a brief discussion on various testings. As you can observe, there are three popular testing which you are going to use in bushing. The first one is power frequency test and thermal test and finally impulse voltage test. There are different procedures of power frequency test. First one is power factor voltage test, then internal or partial discharge test, momentary withstand test at power frequency, then 1 minute withstand test at power frequency and finally visible discharge test at power frequency. These are the various procedures which are comes under power frequency test. If I talk about thermal test, we will be mainly concentrating the temperature rise. So temperature rise and thermal stability test will be conducting under thermal test. So this is one of the mechanical test. Since temperature is a mechanical parameter, we can call this is one of the mechanical tests which are related to bushing. If I talk about impulse voltage test, there are different procedures. Full wave withstand test, then chopped wave withstand test and switching surge test. Here we require one impulse generator. So let us have individual discussion. First, let me explain about power frequency test, how to conduct power frequency test and what are the significance of conducting power frequency test. The first procedure of power frequency test is power factor voltage test. This test can be conducted with the help of shearing bridge. We will be taking the sample of bushings. Then sample of bushing insulator will be placed at one arm of the shearing bridge. Thereafter, you will be balancing the bridge and computing tan delta. Tan delta is nothing but dielectric loss. If the value of dielectric loss is extremely high, better replace that particular material. So it depends on the value of tan delta. You are going to decide that whether the insulation material So you have to decide based on the value of tan delta. So that is regarding power factor voltage test. Let us discuss about internal or partial discharge test. As you know that partial discharge is the main reason for the breakdown of bushing insulators. So we have to consider about the partial discharge. So you can use any type of method like discharge detection methods are normally employed. I have explained in my previous video regarding discharge detection method. In that discharge detection method, many subclassifications are available such as straight detectors, balanced detectors and narrow band and wide band detectors. So you can use any of the methods, straight detectors or balanced detectors or narrow band or wide band methods. Any methods can be adopted. After conducting those methods, you need to analyze the waveforms. If you found any discharges, definitely you will be getting a waveforms. It may be circular or elliptical. So based on that, you can decide that whether the quality of dielectric material or insulation material which are belonging to bushings are proper or not. That you can decide. So if you found any partial discharge, obviously you have to reject that particular test piece. That particular test piece is not apted for using in the real-time application. So that is regarding internal or partial discharge test. If I talk about momentary withstand test at power frequency, it is based on Indian Standard Specification 2099. The duration of conducting the test is only 30 seconds. So in that particular duration, your bushing has to be withstand. If any problem is encountering that particular bushing, definitely you have to reject the test piece. Otherwise, you can accept. So based on this, you have to generate a specified voltage and duration of the test is 30 seconds. Within the 30 seconds, your bushing should be perfectly fine. Okay, if any unhealthy conditions are occurring, definitely you have to reject that particular bushing piece. Let us talk about 1 minute withstand test at power frequency. The duration of conducting the test is only 1 minute. So while conducting the test, you have to provide any artificial rain or any moisture content. Make sure that during rain or any moisture content, your bushing has to be survived. Your bushing has to be withstand. That's a peculiarity of conducting the test. Why? Because bushings are mainly used in the transformer. Most of the transformers are lying on the yard or placing in the lab. Okay. In that particular situation, those bushing insulators should survive against moisture, rain, etc. Okay, so that is why we are going to conduct 1 minute withstand test at power frequency. Now I would like to discuss about visible discharge test at power frequency. Normally this test will be conducting in the dark room. So this is based on IS 2099 specification. So we have to check any discharge is happening. In case any discharge is happening, definitely you have to reject that particular material. That means to check whether bushing is likely to give any radio interference or not. That is also one of the importance of this visible discharge test at power frequency. So this will be conducting in the dark and closed room. Okay, make sure that if any discharge that you are finding out, then definitely you have to reject that particular test piece. So if a given test piece is healthy, no discharge should be found. So this is also giving one of the information regarding EMI issues. EMI, okay, electromagnetic interference. So these are the various tests comes under power frequency test. Okay. Now I would like to discuss about next procedure. Let us discuss about impulse voltage testing. The main requirement of impulse voltage testing is we should have one impulse voltage generator. There are two segments or two procedures which are comes under impulse voltage testing. First procedure is full wave withstand test and second one is chopped wave withstand test and switching surge test. Let us discuss about full wave withstand test. First of all, you need to arrange impulse generator. You have to set the wavefront and wavetail resistor and you have to produce desired waveform. That means 5 consecutive full waves of standard waveforms are applied over a test piece. What is the result? If 2 of them cause flashover or puncture, definitely you can reject that particular test piece. Why? Because it should not show or it should not get flashover for 2 times. If it is less than 2 times, at least once, no problem, at least we can accept it. Make sure that, to be frank, it should not get any puncture or flashover. This is actually the minimum requirement, at least less than 2. It should get at least less than 2. Okay. So after applying 5 consecutive full impulse waveform, your material has to be survived. There should not be any flashover or puncture more than 2. So that's a peculiarity. Let us Let's discuss about the second procedure, that is chopped wave withstand and switching surge test. Here what you are supposed to do is you have to adjust the wavefront and wavetail resistance of impulse generator such a way that you have to produce chopped waveforms. The procedure is similar. You need to have 5 consecutive chopped waveforms that should be applied over the bushing dielectric material or bushing insulators. 2 of them cause flashover. Suppose if 2 of them cause flashover, definitely you can reject the test piece. Instead of full wave, we will be using a chopped waveforms. Moreover, this will be conducting high voltage, especially 220 kV and 400 kV. Make sure that during those conditions, your bushing material should be withstand. Okay, so this is making sure that you are ensuring that your bushing material that will be surviving during lightning and thundering. Especially during lightning and thundering, a tremendous amount of chopped waveform that will be falling over that particular dielectric material. At that time, your dielectric material should be safe. So that is why we are going to conduct chopped wave withstand and switching surges. Okay. The procedure is same that of the previous one. So make sure that two of them, if 2 of them cause flashover, definitely you need to reject that particular test piece. Okay, so that is regarding a full wave withstand test and chopped wave withstand test and switching surge test for bushings. Now let me discuss about the third testing. The thermal test is one of the most important tests which is related to bushings. So temperature rise and temperature stability test has to be conducted systematically. We need to make sure that your dielectric material should withstand over temperature. Why we are conducting the test? Because your dielectric material will be operating in bushings more than 24 hours per day. Okay, more than that. It will be working 24 hours, but to be frank, it will be working 24 hours. Especially if you are using in distribution transformer, it will be operating 24 hours. At that time, it should withstand excess of temperature. So we need to make sure that your dielectric material should withstand over temperature. There should not be any excess of temperature rise in your dielectric material. If excess of temperature rises will be happen for every time, definitely that material is not good. Okay, so it may lead to thermal runaway and the quality of the material, quality of the dielectric material will be spoiled. So for that purpose, we are going to conduct the temperature rise and thermal stability test. How to conduct the test? Let us understand how to conduct the test. Before that, let us understand the importance. The main aim or purpose of this testing is the surface doesn't have excessive temperature rise and not to go in thermal runaway. That's the main peculiarity. So before using your dielectric material, make sure that it should not get any temperature rise or it should not go to thermal runaway. If it goes in excess of temperature rise, definitely the quality of dielectric material will be getting spoiled. Okay. Let us discuss the procedure. Temperature rise test is carried out in free air with an ambient temperature below 400 degrees Celsius at a rated power frequency, say 50 Hz, and it will be AC supply. So during this condition, the temperature rise should not be greater than 1 degree Celsius per hour. So every 1 hour you are supposed to monitor. For example, test may be starting from 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. you are supposed to note down the temperature. 9 to 10 you need to note down the temperature. Similarly, every subsequent hours you are supposed to monitor the temperature. You can use the thermometer. Okay, so please note down the value of temperature and you can plot the graph for every 1 hour. You can use any of the softwares and you can do the analysis. So make sure that temperature rise should not be more than 1 degree Celsius per hour. If the temperature is exceeding for every hour, if the temperature is exceeding more than 1 degree Celsius per hour, definitely you have to reject the test piece. For example, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. the temperature may be 33 degrees Celsius. Then 10 to 11, 35. Then 11 to 12, 38. That means it is exceeding more than, temperature rise is exceeding more than 1 degree Celsius per hour. At that instant, definitely you have to reject the test piece. It should not be, temperature rise should not be more than 1 degree Celsius per hour. That's a protocol regarding thermal test. Okay, so this is the thing which we can ensure that your dielectric material will withstand during excess of temperature. Your dielectric material should be totally free from excess of temperature rise. That's a peculiarity. let's conclude the session. In this session, we have discussed about the importance of bushings, the applications of bushings, then different testing procedures such as power frequency test, thermal test, and impulse voltage test, and how you are going to assure the quality of that particular dielectric material which will be used in the bushings. For more details, you may refer the following textbooks. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found this channel useful, please do subscribe. Thanks a lot.